Hi guys, welcome back to GarageTech. In this video I'm going to show you how to replace your brake pads on these Porsche 6-pot brake calipers. This is actually on my Porsche Cayman, but this will be the same on your 911 if you've got a GT3 etc or whatever with this 6-pot brakes. So I've taken the wheel off, I've jacked this side up, and I've just turned the wheel out on this side so you can see. So if I just show you where we are now. So obviously these are your brake pads here and here. You can see your wear indicators. So what I want to do is actually change these brake pads and take the brake pads out. Obviously this is just a demonstration because my pads are okay, but I'm just doing this to show you how to do it. Now what you'll first need to do is loosen the pads. You can see I've loosened these already inside here. The easiest way to do that is use like a flat blade screwdriver and get a screwdriver in between there and just slowly release it by kind of levering it out like that. Now obviously if your pads are really low, the gap between here and this bracket is going to be smaller, so you need a thinner screwdriver, but just gently lever it either side. Do the same with this one. I'll come up underneath on the bottom on this one because obviously the wear indicator's there, but you don't need a lot of pressure. It's just enough just to loosen the pads to give them a little bit of freedom of movement. It just makes it easier when trying to get them out. Okay, so obviously part of the process as well, you will need to push the pistons all the way back in to allow the room for the new pads. So again, this is a way of doing that. You might need 2 screwdrivers to do both at the same time, because if you're pressing one set of the pistons in, the other side could start to come back out again. Once you've done that, the next thing I'll need to do is remove this 13mm bolt here. It might be quite tight. Once I've done that, I'm not going to take it all the way out just yet. I'm just unscrewing it a few mil. And then what I'm going to do is with a hammer, I'll leave my socket on there. I'm just going to give it a tap, because that will then start to release this pin through the middle. So and just be careful, obviously you don't want to wait until you're right on the end of the thread to whack it, because you don't want to damage the thread. Now I've got to that point now, I need to push this spring clip in, so that should be enough now. I'll push that spring clip in to get that pin out. So there's my bolt out. As I said, I'm just going to push that spring in. Now because I'm struggling a little bit, I'm just going to use a punch down the middle, and then I'm going to try and push that clip in to give it a bit of a tap to come out. We're getting that. So obviously it's quite tight now because you've got this the spring clip here with all the pressure on it. There you go. Right, once we've released that pin, now I'm just going to clean this up with a bit of emery cloth, just clean up any grime on it. And now obviously you've got your pads with the wear sensors, so just be careful with these, they can break quite easy. I'm going to use a screwdriver just to open that up a little bit. That's it, so that's the clip out. And then we do the same with the pads. Okay, obviously as I said, my pads are pretty new anyway, so no real particular issues with them. I just wanted to have a good inspection inside there. So when I put these back, I'm going to put a bit of grease on these edges here and here and here and here, so that makes, just to make sure that my pads can move nice and freely inside. Okay, so with the pads out, Have a good inspection of the pistons. What you're looking for here is check to make sure there's no cracks on the actual pistons themselves. You need to check the seals to make sure there's no cracks or any of the rubber starting to perish on the seals, and particularly checking to make sure there isn't any brake fluid leaking. If that's all okay, then we're good to put the pads, the new pads back in. Obviously, as I said before, you need to just grease the pins. So that's the part where the actual pads rest on, and then those little edges on the pads as well. Obviously, if you use replacing these pads, you need to obviously take out the wear level sensors. So 2 little bits there. Be gentle with these because they can break quite easily, but if you just kind of pinch that and then pull it out, and the same for the one on the other side. So careful not to lose those spring clips, and just be careful with them because they can break. Obviously, putting it back, pretty straightforward. Just do it in reverse order. So I'll put my new pads back in as such. Put the spring clip back in. I'll put the wear sensor clip back in at the end. Just ensuring obviously that the pads are in the correct way with the friction material facing the discs, and then putting the pin back in. So this is the trickiest bit. Obviously, as we saw earlier, you've got to put quite a lot of pressure on this spring. Let's get it lined up. Okay, so I just need to make sure that my bolt is lined up correctly, so the flat edge is kind of there. It gets a bit tricky here. So again, you might just need a pair of pliers just to help you just straighten that up. So just grab a pair of pliers. I just need to make sure that my bolt is just about in the right place. As I said, these 2 flat edges need to be in the right place. Somewhere around there. And you should be able to just use the hammer to there we go. Sorry if my arm was in the way, but you can see that's just in the right place now. So I'm not using the bolt to wind it in, just managed to tap it in with the hammer. You can screw that up. So just quickly nip that up. Not going mega tight. That's it. And then you can put your cable back in. And I'll just use a screwdriver just to close that back in. Okay, that's it then, guys. So that's how you change your brake pads. Obviously, if you wanted to, recommend that you probably do the brake fluid at the same time, just to keep things all in good order. But that's it, chaps. If you're at the racetrack or whatever and you need to quickly change your brake pads, that's it. That's how you can do it. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.